Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We thank you for joining us. I am Lydia Odije Ochi. This broadcast has been streamed live on our website nta.ng/live and other social media handles displayed on your screen. We begin with the Federal Executive Council meeting. All is now set for the presentation of the 2023 budget proposal before a joint session of the National Assembly Friday. This followed the approval of the draft appropriations bill by the Federal Executive Council. We'll bring you details of the meeting subsequently. Senators considered the 2023-2025 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper, which pegged daily crude oil production at 1.69 million barrels per day for 2023 at $73 per barrel. This followed the presentation of the report of Senate Committee on Finance, which also recommended the approval of 437.57 naira as the exchange rate, projected growth rate of 3.75%, 17.16% as projected inflation rate with new borrowing of 8.437 trillion naira. To ensure the availability of petroleum products in the country, the NNPC Limited has taken some measures of interventions in addressing issues surrounding the oil and gas sector. National Assembly correspondent Mobolaji Moribirin reports that the Group Chief Executive Director, NNPC Limited, Mele Kyari, made this known at an interactive session with Senate Joint Committee on Petroleum Downstream Resources and Upstream.
The interactive session is one of many by the Senate and other relevant stakeholders on issues bordering on the nation. The crux of this engagement here rests with the NNPC to clarify on pertinent issues relating to crude oil theft, subsidy region, rehabilitation of refineries, and gains of the Petroleum Industry Act.
The purpose of the meeting was to interact with the NNPC and get answers to some critical questions.
The Group Managing Director of the NNPC Limited briefs the committee on the issues raised.
Just 3 days ago, Mr. Chairman, we found a connection by the help of these private contractors that were put in place, running 4 kilometers from our major Trunk-Focados line into the sea, 4 kilometers into the sea, and with a loading port that has probably operated in the last 9 years, Mr. Chairman.
9 years.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. And if this is just one, I do not know how many more are there, Mr. Chairman.
What are those things that Nigerians that will be alive tomorrow will benefit from this transition from PIB to PIA?
Since the passage of the PIA, distinguished Chairman, you know, so many decisions were easily met. Compliance became an issue. And we tried everything possible to comply with every regulation.
It's either we take a position at the National Assembly and make all theft a capital offense. It's how we take that position. So these are some of the recommendations we'll be sending.
The meeting is part of efforts to address challenges affecting the oil and gas industry. From the National Assembly, Mobolaji Moribirin, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has resolved to admit President Muhammadu Buhari and his entourage into the chambers for the presentation of the 2023 budget estimate to the joint session of the National Assembly. The motion to that effect was moved by the House Leader Alhassan Adodogwa in line with the standing orders of the House of Representatives.
Pursuant to Order 21, Rule 8, 1 and 2 of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives, do admit the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria I rise to second the motion moved by the House Leader that will do admit Mr. President on Friday 7 for the purpose of laying the annual estimate for 2023.
The appropriation bill will be presented this Friday. The report of the medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper containing recommendations on parameters of the budget has been laid for consideration. If you can read, write, and are gainfully employed, it goes without saying that a teacher had played the critical role of impacting knowledge. This simply re-echoes the central place of teachers and the teaching profession across the globe. However, key players on Good Morning Nigeria say the 21st century teachers must possess digital capacity to drive the changing educational landscape. Lydia Sampson will tell us more.
As Nigeria joins the world to commemorate World Teachers' Day, the theme, Transforming Education Begins with the Teacher expertise, is not just apt but resonates with the realities of the 21st century. They are unanimous that unlike in the past, when the teacher is the sage on stage, dishing out knowledge, now impacting knowledge must be interactive through digital technology.
The technology we are in, maybe we didn't see the importance of them until COVID-19. Especially when it came to classroom teaching and learning. So that is why when this year the theme being education transformation begins with a teacher. You can now see that it just reminds us that the teacher already have a role to play, and that role has to do with that adaptability. Whatever be the situation, a teacher should be able to fit in very well.
A child can spend 2 hours learning so many things, but how to connect them to getting the product. It is not like that. That of the teacher is designed, is planned, and it is aimed at evaluating or producing or a work that is assessed for a result. That is the difference with that of a child. But actually, transformation is required now. And it has to start with a teacher.
With the use of technology to ease teaching approach comes the concern and challenge of the rural areas without internet.
You cannot rely on both online materials alone for the teachers and the learners, that some of these materials will have to be put also in hard copies and to be put offline mode. And that's part of the thing that we are trying to do.
They applauded the policies of federal government at repositioning teaching, but decried non-implementation at the state levels. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Joining me in the studio to deal on some thematic issues confronting the profession is Comrade Audu Titus Amba, National President, NUT. Thank you for joining us on Nationwide.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your celebration.
Thank you, and good afternoon, viewers.
Okay, now let's talk more on this year's theme, which is talking about the transformation of education, which begins with teachers. Now, this theme sends a strong signal if we consider the current state of education in Nigeria. How apt is this theme at this time?
Yes, thank you very much. And I want to first and foremost congratulate Nigerian teachers and the teachers all over the world. Yes, this theme is apt in the sense that we are in the 21st century, and going by what is happening, the teacher being the focal point in terms of impacting knowledge to the student, we will say it has come at the right time. The only issue that we are having or is confronting us is the conducive atmosphere for teachers to exhibit the skills that is in them. These are some of the challenges that we are having. Bearing in mind, as a teacher is not like a pilot, piloting a flight, and if he does wrong, the plane may likely capsize. So what we're saying is that the teacher is the key person in terms of transformation of education.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what when we talk about out of school children, of course, that had been a source of worry to even the present administration. Now, what are teachers, or what efforts have been made by teachers to reduce the number of out-of-school children? Because this is a burden to the nation and development partners.
Yes, there are so many issues that is confronting the sector itself. You see, the rate at which we have out-of-school children in our school is most alarming. Alarming in the sense that there are some incentives, there are some things that if found in place, it will reduce the number of children out of school. Let me give you an instance. Okay. In a situation where you send your child to school where the learning environment is not conducive, a child will come to school and sit down on a bare floor, no any social amenities that could be able to maybe encourage him when he gets back home. He'll be thinking of, I'm praying that tomorrow I'll maybe get set and go to school. That zeal, that motivation for him to go to school, because he will go there and see so many things that ordinarily are not there in the house. So these are some of the challenges you'll find out that some parents, some children, even if they are asked to go to school, they deviate. They deviate and go out there, play on the street, because the learning environment is not conducive. And if you look at some of our private schools, so to say, it's not all learning, all true. They try to bring in things that will be able to kind of ginger and maybe motivate the child to be crying to the parents, "Daddy, take me to school. I want to be in school." How many of these children do we have in our public school that will be knocking at your bed that it is time for me to go to school? The government had to look at it critically and make sure that the infrastructure should be made available and conducive environment should be provided so that learning will take place. The teacher will be comfortable, the people too will be comfortable. It will interest you to know, and it will interest the public to know, that most of our school, more especially in the remotest area of our society, you find out that learning is taking place even under the tree.
Yes.
Yes, it's happening. You go to a place where the roof is peeled off by a storm and it's not replaced. So you find out that children will say, "I can't go to that school, that if it is raining, the rain will beat me. I can't go." So they become discouraged. So it is a dual thing. The teacher himself needs to be so creative to be able to kind of encourage the children by giving them activities, stories that will kind of encourage them
to learn,
to draw their attention.
Okay, now
these are some of the issues.
Talking about a teacher being creative now, let's talk about the standard of education. That is staying the level of education of the teacher themselves, because they are the ones imparting to the child. What is the NUT doing about this?
Yes, it will interest you to know that the minimum qualification for a teacher to teach in the primary school as at today is the NCE. Okay. I stand to be corrected. I don't want to believe that there is any teacher in our school, public school, that doesn't acquire that very qualification of NCE minimum. NCE qualification is the qualification is NCE for you to teach in the primary school. We have teachers in the primary school that are NCE holders, that are B.Ed holders, that are master's degree holders, that are PhD holders.
Okay.
These are we have them, and there is no limit to learning as far as the teaching profession is concerned. There should be continued training and retraining organized by government. We as NUT, we are partnering with foreign donors, non-governmental organizations, to make sure that we train our teachers too. Okay. Yeah, that's what we do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
We wish we had more time for you to talk more.
Thank you very much.
Once more, I want to congratulate you on your celebration.
You're welcome.
We've been talking with the Comrade Audu Titus Amba, National President, NUT. Going on now, the federal government has registered and presented approval letters to 2 more academic unions out of ASU. Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, says the approval is born out of the desire of the the Nigerian Association of Medical and Dental Academics, NAMDA, and Congress of University Academics, CONUA, for freedom of association under the International Labour Law. Joseph Osen will tell us more.
These two associations, the Nigerian Association of Medical and Dental Academics and the Congress of University Academics, are said to have applied, seeking the establishment as unions between 2017 and 2019, both citing irreconcilable differences, dislocation of academic activities due to recurrent ASU strikes, welfare issues, and lack of accountability of ASU leadership.
Medicine and dentistry are very sensitive professions which require a well-programmed, uninterrupted, and hands-on training. It requires time and sufficient exposure, which, when lost, is difficult to replace.
We are giving the assurance that we will work to ensure that this country, Nigeria, is not traumatized again by academic union dislocations.
A committee is set up to look into the grievances of the academic lecturers, recommended the approval of the two unions back in 2019, but the government had to hold back due to COVID-19.
Let it be noted that Section 3, Subsection 2 of the Trade Unions Act T14, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, gives the Honorary Minister of Labour and Employment powers to regroup an existing trade union of workers or employers. They are not a legal union of workers with rights and privileges. And there is no discussion that will take place in any university academic environment for academic workers, of which there are members that will not involve them.
Dr. Chris Ngige revealed that salaries of members of the two unions are being paid as they are not part of the ongoing ASU strike. He urges vice chancellors of universities to open university gates for patriotic lecturers who want to teach. In Abuja, Joseph Osen, NTA News.
Now let's talk to Mr. Alester Wilcox, a chartered accountant and public affairs analyst, to speak on the newly registered two academic unions. Mr. Wilcox, if you can hear me, let's talk about the Nigerian Association of Medical and Dental Academics, that's the NAMDA, and Congress of University Academics, CONUA. Let's hear your view on this development.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It's quite a pleasure to be on your network this afternoon.
Thank you.
First and foremost, well, let me congratulate the two unions whose applications have been pending with the Federal Ministry of Labour for almost of 2 years now, for successfully having the applications being approved. My personal opinion is, well, so let me also congratulate the federal government for the bold step, because most often than not, governments shy away out of political exigencies or public opinion, maybe advising public opinion, in doing what they consider right or the right of others. So sometimes this thing happens, but at this point that the government took the bold step to give approval to the applications being made by these two unions, I think it's quite a commendable thing. I am not particularly about balkanization of existing unions. I'm not a proponent of it, but I know that unionism is supposed to promote welfareism and supposed to be a bridge between whatever employer and the employee. But when a union becomes recalcitrant and become heady and rather become a solution, become the problem, I think when some patriotic members of that union chooses not to be part of that union and finding another space upon which they express themselves, it's a welcome, because I mean we all talk about we're in a democratic setting. The Constitution of Nigeria allows freedom of association, expression. So if a particular section of the union do not feel comfortable or do not feel their interest is well protected, or they are their will is well protected in the existing union, I think they have a right to seek alternative platform, and the government also has a right.
Okay, now, how will this impact the sector?
Well, the days ahead will determine that. if the two unions, for instance, the medical and dental work union, I think I understand and I'm quite appreciative of what the leader who picked up the certificate said. I can't remember his name. Medical practice, medical training, and dental training does not tolerate this kind of persistent breakage. It's a very delicate thing, and so they are prepared not to. They are prepared to be distinct, so that their students will have an unbroken program of learning. To the point that if you are supposed to spend 6 years, you spend. So they are, as far as I'm concerned, that is a welcome development and a relief to so many students. And the other union too is saying that their members are not interested in this kind of prolonged strikes. I know a lot of university teachers that are hungry today because 7 months without salary, the executive of those unions might be having free money from somewhere, but there are other workers who are not, and so they are all tied into the whole group. So as far as I'm concerned, it has unbundled the present structure and give other people platforms to operate. And to those who want to go on strike can remain on strike. Those who want to teach can remain. Can go back to the classroom and teach.
Okay. Now, let me see. Let me hear your reaction about this briefly. Do you see this action or this development curbing the activities of ASU?
Well, ASU remains a very formidable force. In fact, the university environment is concerned. The current unions, first the medical union. Well, there is medical school in almost all the schools. So those schools that have medical unions, medical schools, they are bound to become members of that medical union. So of course, when there is ASU strike, those medical teachers, those teachers in the medical union will not be on strike. So they will continue. Now, if the ranks are depleted, if very few people that belongs to ASU wants to go on strike, of course, the impact will not be as grievous. It will not shut down the entire university. Right now, the entire university is shut down. So if a particular section of the union said, look, we are not on strike, of course, the university will be open, and those teachers that are in those unions will continue to teach, while those in ASU will not. Now, at the end of the day, we will discover that a particular ASU might see themselves irrelevant, because if there is a breakage in the number, first their check-up dues will reduce. That free money they are getting from check-up dues will reduce, and then they also discover that everybody is not in the same camp. So if you choose to strike, that is your headache. Of course, you strike, and then you be assessed based on the number of hours you teach. So I think for me, it's a welcome development, and I like it.
All right, Mr. Alistair Wilcox, we thank you for sharing your thoughts with us, and we want to thank you. We'll be talking with Alistair Wilcox, the chartered accountant and public affairs analyst. He was speaking on the newly registered 2 academic unions. And from here, let's join Hingino John Adams in Lagos for more on Nationwide. Hingino.
Thank you, Lydia. To have a robust logistic framework for the upcoming general elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is collaborating with critical stakeholders to ensure hitch-free movement of election materials and personnel development. Diana Ajale completes the report.
In this hall are senior INEC officials and relevant stakeholders from the public and private sectors. The purpose of this meeting, Chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu says, is to share ideas that will enhance the smooth running of logistics during the 2023 general elections.
The Commission is determined to continuously improve on our processes and procedures in order to give Nigerians a pleasant experience on election day. In achieving this goal, we need the support and partnership of all stakeholders. By your presence at this meeting, you have demonstrated your willingness to partner with the Commission, and we are encouraged by such demonstration of support and commitment.
The meeting reviewed provision of logistics framework for elections since 2019 and overview of the role of technology in election management, prospects, among other issues.
This important expert review meeting on elections logistics is part of the key engagement under the Fourth Foundation project. The intervention seeks to engage critical stakeholders in a bid to accelerating the challenges identified in the logistics deployment of election materials for election administration.
Logistics is at the heart of elections. If we don't get the logistics right, then we don't get the elections right. And that's what this workshop is trying to do, because we believe that if you get the right logistics right, then you will get the elections right.
We want to deploy to all parts of the country, no matter the terrain, no matter the challenges at the same time, so that we can have a seamless electoral process.
Participants believe that adequate planning will enhance the Commission's performance in the 2023 general election. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
October 4, 2022 will remain a remarkable day in the lives of Lagos State civil servants after Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu announced a surprise salary increment for them during his annual working visit to the state secretariat. Musa Toliat reports that pensioners in the state also shared in the kind gesture of the governor.
Servants came out in their numbers to welcome Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to the state secretariat in Alausa, Ikeja. But beyond the annual ritual of appreciating and urging them to redouble their efforts, Governor Sanwo-Olu delivered a delightful news that will linger in the minds of the civil servants forever. He announced an upward review of salary for the state workforce.
The pressure on all of you, I'm aware. The pressure of inflation in the country, I'm aware. We are going to review it, and we are going to ensure that we can indeed take care of our public service, because once we do that, not only will we expect a lot more from you, but the citizens will see the benefit of doing the right thing.
Not done with the guidance to the civil servants, he also approved 25% increase of core establishment duty allowance. The first phase of the 100 vehicles for directors in the public service will also be delivered before the end of the month.
More than 80% of your promises have been kept. The remaining 20% are at various stages of completion of being kept.
The governor disclosed that the head of service and the State Ministry of Establishment have been directed to work out the details of the salary increment. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
That's it from here. We will take a break now. Agatha is standing by in our Benin Network Center for the next set of reports. But before then, do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates.
Pleased that the Buhari-led administration has made remarkable progress,
like Lafia Transmission Station nearing completion.
Africa does not need charity, but partnerships that will promote the adequate investment
with the cooperation of all.
Sharing firsthand the experiences of reporters on the field as they bring to you weekly the beauty of Nigeria's diverse culture and the economic potentials therein. The Correspondent, development through the eye of the grassroots, showing every Monday at 1:30 p.m. on the network service of the NTA, with a repeat broadcast on NTA News 24 and NTA International. Join us.
Good morning, Nigeria. Year after year, they have been informed, educated, and entertained of when you needed information, knowledge, or an escape.
Generation to generation, the Nigerian broadcasting industry has worked tirelessly to serve you.
And now, this service will finally be recognized.
Right? This November, broadcasters all over Nigeria will gather for the maiden edition of the Nigerian Broadcasting Awards, an award ceremony set to reward hard work and unflinching excellence in the broadcast media. They have served and are still serving. It's time to say thank you. This award is organized by the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, BON. For more details, log on to www.tnawards.ng and follow our social media handles at TNB Awards.
The security challenges we have faced as a government have been daunting. From terrorism to banditry, to kidnapping, to separatist violence, to crude oil theft, to armed robbery and sundry crimes. It's undoubtedly the greatest challenge to the peace and security of our great country since the Civil War of 1967 to 1970. It's a kind of challenge that would have overwhelmed many nations. But thanks to the purposeful leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, we can say, I want to repeat, that the worst is over and peace and security are gradually returning to the land.
This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Thank you for staying on Nationwide and a warm welcome to Benin. The General Officer commanding 2 Division of the Nigerian Army, Ibadan, Major General Aminu Chinade, says the Army is committed to the security and safety of the nation, urging officers to abide by professional conduct of the Army. Major General Aminu was at the 4th Brigade Nigerian Army, Benin City, while touring Army formations under his jurisdiction. Goodluck Inaini has details.
Major General Aminu Chinade held a closed-door meeting with higher officers of the formation and charged the rank and file to keep doing everything within their professional conduct to ensure the defense of the nation's territorial integrity.
You must refrain from indulging in any act that would portray the Nigerian Army in bad lights. You must be professional in your conduct and the execution of tasks, and you must work closely together with other agencies and stakeholders within your domain with a view to contributing effectively towards addressing the myriad security challenges that we have.
He gave the marching order for increased patrol of their areas of jurisdiction to ensure security presence at all times. The new GOC was the Commandant, Nigerian Army Depot in Zaria, Kaduna State. It took over from the former GOC, Major General Chibuisi Gold, who is now a director in Abuja. In Benin, Goodluck Inaini, NTA News.
The National Population Commission in Edo State is widening its support base to actualize success of the first census to be conducted using digital technology. A stakeholders summit in collaboration with Edo State government is held for the purpose with the theme 2023 Census, Getting the People Involved. Based on estimates of the latest United Nations data, Nigeria's population is over 200 million. Nigeria is ranked the 6th most populous country in the world and projected to be 3rd most populous by 2050 after India and China. These are estimates. No data captures the actual number as the last census was conducted 16 years ago. Experts believe it contributes largely to setbacks to provision of basic amenities and overall development planning. A date for census has been announced and preparations are ongoing. One of such is this stakeholders summit. They have converged to rub minds on how far the process has gone.
In the past, what you did was paper. This time around is technology. There's little or no room for human interferences and manipulations.
Governor Baseki, represented, expresses commitment to the cause.
Knowing the population of Edo State and using the data to plan for the people and future generation is a collective duty we own this nation.
We have our structures all over the states, the 18 local government, and we're going to talk with them to cooperate with officials of the commission. We ensure that all members of the union mobilize their family out to capture in the census.
to do the best we can to ensure that the census is credible, so that for the very first time we'll be proud to have a figure that will be a true reflection of the number that we are.
President Buhari in March this year approved the conduct of a national census on April 2023 to lay foundation for evidence-based and reliable demographic data for national development and planning.
That's a wrap here. Back to Lydia in Abuja for more reports.
Many thanks, Agatha. Effective and efficient implementation of objectives of the Freedom of Information Act is facing some challenges. In view of this, the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation organized a 2-day sensitization and capacity building on the Freedom on the Act. Haman Jabani reports.
It is mandatory for public institutions to ensure appropriate training of its officials on public rights to access information or records from government or public institutions as provided in the Freedom of Information Act. It is in the light of this that the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation is equipping civil servants on the Act. Permanent Secretary, Common Service Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation, Ibrahim Yusuf said the law enables the public to access government information in order to ensure transparency and accountability, and it enables citizens to hold government accountable.
To make people understand the FOI, what are the provisions, what are the penalties. People don't know what is the law. When did it start? It's not an option to provide information, it's a must for public servants.
It is noted that poor understanding of the FOI Act is one of the reasons for poor implementation, while poor funding and record keeping are also reasons for poor implementation of the Act.
We want the directors to be well affirmed with the laws and policies of FOI, because they are responsible for information leaving their department.
By law are not allowed to release some information. They have to seek for that waiver and make that known on or before February 1st of each year. And this application must be sent to the Ministry of Justice. For that, it is a new knowledge that I'm just speaking.
The Act also seeks to protect serving public officers against any diverse consequences from unauthorized disclosure of official information. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
The Armed Forces of Nigeria has stressed its determination to bequeath to Nigerians safe and secured environment before the end of this administration. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo, gave the assurance at the foundation-laying ceremony of the Armed Forces Post-Traumatic Center in Abuja. Our defense correspondent, Ismail Musa, reports that the project was initiated by the Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association, DEPOA.
Military and other security personnel have for decades sacrificed their lives in securing Nigeria and Nigerians. This tactical responsibility is most times challenging and sometimes leads to casualties, and traumatic experience becomes inevitable. To bridge the existing gap in mental health care and trauma centers, the Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association, DEPOA, is establishing a transformative armed forces post-traumatic stress disorder center in Giri, Abuja.
The center will help evaluate, counsel, and provide adequate support to personnel and, by extension, their families before reintegration from conflict zones. It will also help to enhance national, regional, and global stability.
We may have exhibited some signs of post-traumatic stress disorder. Your understanding by virtue of this project as to what perhaps may have led us to, act the way we did in the past is something that we will stand ready to support you.
While commending Nigerian military for their selfless role in regional peace, the UK government promised to support the project.
I think for us all, it will be a first of its kind in the continent, but it's going to be a wider initiative that I hope global leaders across the world will recognize as a necessity.
For me, this is a historic occasion, but also unprecedented in our part of the world, which demands the fullest support of all of us.
Nigeria has set the example today
that we can all rise and do something about our sons and daughters who sacrifice so much for our safety and good life.
The proposed center is to be completed before May 2023 in Abuja. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Nationwide continues as we join Jenny in Port Harcourt. Jenny, you're next.
So much, Lydia. The acting chairman of the People's Democratic Party Board of Trustees, Senator Adolphus Wabara, said the board, as an advisory organ of the party, will continue to ensure that PDP is united to clinch victory in 2023 general elections. The acting chairman briefed the media after their meeting with Governor Nyesom Wike at Government House, Port Harcourt. Ogedinye Query reports.
The meeting of the People's Democratic Party Board of Trustees with Governor Wike followed the decision of the board after their meeting with the party's presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar to reconcile all aggrieved members of the party. The meeting, which held behind closed doors and lasted for about 4 hours, Wabara said is a work in progress as they have not concluded on the issues. He acknowledged that the interaction has availed them more revelations and they are better informed.
It's always easy to destroy, but to make peace, it takes some time. We have been briefed by His Excellency, and so we'll go back to Abuja. We'll be going back to Abuja to really digest all that we gathered from His Excellency. And really very frank talks, but one good thing is that this family still remains one.
Governor Wike reiterated that he is not leaving the PDP, but believes that the important thing to do is to get the party united and settle all internal wranglings. In Port Harcourt, Ogedinye Query, NTA News.
Students of universities in Cross River State under the National Association of Nigerian Students have joined their voices to enlighten electorate to vote wisely during the 2023 general elections to promote good governance in the state and the country. This, the students say, can only be achieved when people who register, collect their permanent voter cards, exercise their franchise, and follow up with the electioneering process. Erica Ivy reports.
The Solidarity Walk Tag, Your Vote is Your Voice, is to create awareness on the need for students and the public to get their PVCs in order to exercise their franchise without hindrances. The students with different banners and inscriptions such as "Go get your PVC," "Your vote is your voice," started the walk from Millennium Park to other streets in Calabar, sensitizing the public on the need to prepare for the choice of a good candidate that will lift Nigeria to an enviable height among the Committee of Nations.
Yeah, we are advising the electorate to vote and see beyond party sentiments, religion, ethnicity, and personal aggrandizement. We are being mandated by all angles that we get our PVCs and vote for good governance.
They are sensitizing our people, our students, on the need for them to collect their PVC because we need to cast our vote.
One of NAN's patron in Calabar, Reverend Ephraim Effiong, charged politicians, members of the public, as well as clerics to shun corruption, especially in the area of selling and buying of votes.
To support, to back, to show to even the church leaders that nobody should sit at home.
The president and other stakeholders advised the students who are presently at home to be of good conduct, be patient while awaiting ASU and federal government to resolve issues concerning education sector in Nigeria. In Calabar, Erika Ivy, NTA News.
That's it from here. Nationwide continues shortly after this break.
Introducing
the Nigerian Marketing Awards. Celebrating marketing excellence in Nigeria on Friday, 11 November 2022 at the Eko Convention Center. Visit our website at www.mma-ng.com for more information. Entry closes September 30, 2022.
Now, what could make someone set out on a journey and not get to his or her destination? Now, imagine the victim who cannot reach out to these responders, who doesn't even have the phone to reach out. Hello, thank you very much for joining us on platform. I'm Ruth Agwe.
And the girl, especially if the girl is a minor, she's not yet 18 years. If she gets pregnant, realize that such girl is sent out of school and the boy is left in school.
Just park to pick the call.
So how much sensitization is there, Paris?
I don't agree. A lot of people are just deaf.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Welcome back. Though the internal wranglings within the PDP is yet to be properly settled, the Presidential Campaign Council is going ahead with its plans to officially flag off the process in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State next week. Director General of the Campaign Council and Governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, stated this in Abuja while inspecting facilities at the National Campaign Headquarters of the party. Timothy Yusuf reports.
The Wuse to Abuja headquarters of the Atiku Okowa 2023 campaign organization is already a beehive of activities with various support groups visiting to identify with the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar. This inspection of facilities at the National Campaign Office is preparatory to the October 10 presidential campaign flag-off in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. Director General of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council and Governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, led other members of the council on a visit. The council promised an issue-based campaign.
We are going to be marketing our candidate based on the program that we have rolled out, which is generally solution-based. We are not going to go about fishing. Atiku Abubakar is very well prepared to provide the required leadership that this country needs at this time.
On differences among some of the PDP governors buying into the Presidential Campaign Council, Tambuwal says in his capacity as chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, efforts are ongoing to resolve their differences amicably and bring everyone on board. The PDP Presidential Campaign Council sought the collaboration and understanding of Nigerians in the party's efforts towards returning to government at the center. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Care, support, financial and political inclusion are the demands of older persons in Nigeria as they observe the 2022 National Day of Older Persons. Elizabeth Amori reports that the National Day is tagged celebrating the resilience of older women and men in a changing world from resilience to empowerment.
Aside their frailty and grey, they are determined to contribute positively to national development. The agility of Pa Bakari, 73, caught our attention.
Lack of, resources to take care of themselves when they have health challenges. They always die before their time.
The maiden edition of the National Day of Older Persons seeks to draw the attention of the government and society to the importance of engaging the aging population in national issues.
This present administration has instituted frameworks, strategies, programs, activities, and budget lines to begin to roll back the many years of neglect, many years of discrimination, whether it be systemic or institutional discrimination, and roll back the many years of abuse, and now systematically begin to include older people in development.
The walk, which began from the old parade ground, terminated at the headquarters of the NTA, where the Executive Director, Administration and Training received the senior citizens on behalf of the Director General.
NTA is here to project your objectives. I welcome you and I encourage you individually and as a group to keep the light burning.
Financial instability and victimization are issues they highlighted hampering their social inclusion. They advocate people-centered integrated care through effective support systems. Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Meanwhile, senior citizens in Kwara State have joined the rest of the world to mark this year's International Day of Older Persons. Ahmed Fulani in this report examines the plight of the elderly in Kwara State and how to cater for them.
Often regarded as senior citizens, the older persons play vital roles in nation building as government and individuals benefit from their wealth of experience. However, their well-being in a country battling various challenges such as insecurity and economic hardship is of grave concern to many, calling for concerted efforts at resolving them. In line with the United Nations policy, the 2022 celebration is expected to serve as a hallmark and reminder of the significant role older persons play in traversing global challenges and contributing to the solutions with resilience and fortitude. An octogenarian, Clara Okeowo, who bemoaned government and relatives' negligence of the older persons, is advocating for legislation that will cater for the welfare of the senior citizens, which should be included in the country's annual budget.
They can no longer work, they can no longer sell things. Some can even no longer cook for themselves. They need care.
The moment you retire from your work, you are more or less been neglected.
Payment of even the pension that people expect that to keep themselves up, you as small as it is, it's not regularly paid.
Meanwhile, the Christian Senior Fellowship International celebrated International Day of Older Persons with a call on government to recognize the roles of the elderly in nation building.
Whatever we can do to make life easier and more comfortable for them, I think it is time to begin to do it.
The celebration provided an avenue for some older persons to exchange pleasantries. Ahmed Fulani, NTA News.
Traveling through the Abuja-Lokoja highway has become a daunting task for road users as a result of water overflowing the roads. Francis Udojo in an update reports that a journey of hours is counting days for some travelers.
From Lokoja and here in Oreta, this is how far a vehicle can go. And to the epicenter along the Kotunkarifi area is about 4 kilometers. And to be able to get to that point, we'll have to get on bike. Join us as we move there. Commuters from the south and north have for days been having difficulty accessing the Lokoja-Abuja highway as a result of continuous increase of water overflowing the route, causing heavy gridlock, specifically the Kotunkarifi axis. The difficulty has left many travelers stranded, while others have chosen to abandon their vehicles to get alternative means of transportation to their destination. Some wait in hunger and thirst, hoping to get to the point of hope, where vehicles from both ends of the road waiting turns.
We have been here for almost 2 to 3 days now. So look at how we are suffering. And the road have been blocked because of the flood, but we are seeking for government to intervene.
Since yesterday we are here.
If we pass 50 vehicles from Abuja Lokoja, we stop the traffic, then pass 50 vehicles from Lokoja Abuja road, because those tankers or trucks must have been blocking one side of the road, so only leaving us to just one way at a time for free passage of vehicles. With the road covered with water and a vehicle already stuck in it, there is the danger of more vehicles falling over. This situation makes it even more difficult for both the commuters and security operatives to maneuver the movement. A high level of patience is required here, and as they say, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. From Kotonkarefi local government area of Kogi State, Francis Sudojo, NTA News.
Let's quickly take our sports update with Kenema Abudike.
Members of the 11 sub-committees inaugurated in Abuja Wednesday ahead of the forthcoming 21st National Sports Festival have been charged on hitting the ground running for a successful festival. The sub-committees include accreditation, anti-doping, finance, game services, security, feeding and accommodation. Others are workforce management, opening and closing, transport and protocol.
You have to conduct yourself in such a manner that everybody here, including the Honorable Minister, will be pleased with the conduct.
Working as a team collectively helps to make things easier and we achieve our goals.
The 2022 National Sports Festival is slated for November 28 to December 10 in Asaba, Delta State. Shooting Star Sports Club of Ibadan are the winners of the 4-team invitation tournament to mark the maiden edition of Playing Football for Good Governance. The tournament, which held at Olubado Stadium in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, saw Elaje FC losing via penalties to Oyo Housing Corporation FC, while Shooting Stars beat Golden Warriors 3-0 on route final, where they overpowered Oyo Housing Corporation FC by 2-0.
We are not going to be carried away by the result because they are all pre-season tournament. So we'll see is to enable us see, our team.
Still on football, 8 fixtures were decided Tuesday in the UEFA Champions League, with Bayern Munich defeating Victoria Plzen 5-0, Inter Milan beat Barcelona 1-0 in Italy, while Liverpool beat Rangers 2-0. 8 other fixtures will be decided Wednesday evening as Chelsea welcome AC Milan, while Manchester City hosts Copenhagen. In baseball, Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees has set a new American League record with a 62nd home run of the season, surpassing the 61-year-old single-season mark set by Roger Maris. The record-breaking ball was claimed by a fan in the stands and has been valued at about $2 million. That's Sports Update. I am Kenan Ima Abudike, NTA News.
And before we go, don't forget to join NTA in the campaign against rape and rapists. Thank you for watching. I'm Lydia Odijochi. Good evening.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Naysayers have recently ramped up their criticism of the Buhari administration for borrowing. These critics are very insincere. We do not borrow for recurrent expenditure, neither do we borrow to pay salaries. We are borrowing to build world-class infrastructure that will benefit generations of Nigerians. And we have a lot to show for the loans we have taken. Today, the standard gauge rail line between Lagos and Ibadan are running very well. Today, we have new airport terminals in Abuja, in Kano, in Lagos and Port Harcourt. Today, the Itakpe-Warri rail line that was abandoned for decades is now running. Today, we have well over 13,000 kilometers of federal roads under repair, rehabilitation, and reconstruction. There's a road project in every state today. Today, we have started the countdown to when the second Niger Bridge, which successive administrations have built only on paper, will be completed. The list of projects we're handling with the loans we obtained is long.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.